Hello everyone and welcome to the First Steps Bidding course continued. Today I'm going to be talking you through openers rebid with an unbalanced hand. So let's unpack this a little bit because you might not be sure what that means. Openers rebid just means the second bid the opener makes. So they've said something, their partner said something else, and now it's their turn again. Unbalanced, of course, means a hand that is not balanced, and if you're not entirely sure about the distinction between balanced and unbalanced hands, then please look at the first lesson in this course, because that will explain everything. Firstly, a couple of reminders. Things you should know already are that if you have at least 25 high card points between you and your partner, you should make sure you bid a game. 3 no trumps, 4 of a major, or 5 of a minor, and that will be of course different depending on the strain. The first priority of the auction is to find an 8-card major fit with your partner. So we've talked about this before. If you have 8 hearts or 8 spades between you, then that's the first priority for a trump suit. If you have at least 12 high card points, you'll open one of your longest suit, assuming that you're not balanced and playing at all. Bids of new suits tend to be forcing. So forcing and non-forcing is something we talked about in the previous video. So forcing just means that your partner is not allowed to pass this bid. And non-forcing means that he is. So bids of no trumps or suits that have already been bid are non-forcing. And that's because you're limited at the top end of your point range. That sounds a bit jargony. It just means that you've shown a specific number of points. So your minimum is X number of points and your maximum is Y. Whereas a forcing bid will be, I have at least X points, but you're not putting a number on the top. Okay, so let's cover something new. General rule for rebidding if you've got an unbalanced hand is if you have a single suited hand, you bid the same suit again. So single suited just meaning no other 4-card suit in your hand. This will mean that you have at least a 6-card suit, trust me. With a 2-suited hand, you bid your second suit, and that's describing quite a lot of information to your partner. You're saying you not only have this suit, but also you have this one, so you're giving your partner a choice. Let's talk about the previously bid suits to start with, because these are all to do with non-forcing bids. So if you're unbalanced, there are 2 types of non-forcing bid that you can make. One of these is bidding the suit that you bid the first time, but bidding it again. And that's a very single-suited thing to do. The other thing is bidding your partner's suit, which is the 2-suited thing to do. And remember, because one of you has already bid that suit, it's not a forcing bid. Okay, in both cases, you are setting trumps. So the reason that we have it as a non-forcing bid is because we don't need to decide on a trump suit anymore. We don't need to push our partner to give us more information. All we've got to do is say, within our partner's expectation, roughly where we are in terms of points. So they want to know how strong we are. They already know what the trump suit is. So how do we decide? Well, if we've got an opening hand, so we've opened a suit at the 1 level, then our high card point range will be something like 12 to 19. Split that down the middle, but remember that you actually know a little bit more about your partner's hand than you did the first time you bid. So your partner has promised at least 6 points. With 19, you know you have 25. So you should make sure you get to game. You don't want to make a non-forcing bid below game if you have 19 points, because you know that your partner will respond with 6. Remember that if you have a minor suit fit, so you've decided that your likely 8-card fit is in the minor, then the priority is to bid 3 no trumps rather than 5 minor. Just because you only have to make 9 tricks compared to the 11, yeah, it should be easier to make 3 no trumps than 5 of a minor. Sometimes you'll have a hand that's very, very unbalanced and you know that it's not going to play very well in no trumps, then you would consider playing in 5 of a minor, but that's going to be very, very unusual. 3 no trumps is the priority. Okay, so we're ruling out these 19-point hands because we know what to do with those, so we make sure we bid again. What about minimums and maximums? With a minimum, you just bid the suit in question at the lowest level. With a maximum, you bid the suit, but you also jump. Let's say we want to bid our own suit. We've got a single suited hand and we really, really like hearts. We've got at least 6 of them. If we have bid a heart and partners responded a spade, now when we bid 2 hearts, that shows a minimum hand. But if we jump to 3 hearts, that shows a maximum hand. Similarly, if we're supporting our partner's suit, then we can bid 2 spades if we have a minimum, but we jump to 3 spades if we have a maximum. Let's talk a little bit about bidding new suits. So if you have a 2-suited hand, but you don't have support for partner's suit, and usually specifically a major, you can bid your own second suit. Remember that you don't actually know which suit should be trumps, so you can't start leaping around with a maximum hand, taking up all the space when you haven't even discovered anything about your partner's hand yet. You don't know much more than they have 4 cards in a suit that they've bid. So try to keep the bidding as low as possible if you're bidding new suits, because you need to work out what the trump suit is. So you can't leap to game, even if you have enough points, but you will have to tell your partner if you have enough points for game. When your partner's shown at least 6, you would have 19 to have a hand like this. And in that case, you jump bid in your second suit. So you are taking up space, but it just means that your partner will never pass below game now. So that's great. You make sure you get to game and you leave a little bit of room for communication. If you have any hand that's not sure about game, so it could be anything from 12 all the way up to 18, then what do? You just bid your suit at the lowest level. The partner's only going to pass if they have 6 points, because they know that if you had 19, you would jump. So let's look at some examples. Here, like before, you've opened a heart and partner's bid a spade, but you've got clubs as well as hearts. If you bid only 2 clubs, then you're just saying you're less than game forcing. So that's the very wide-ranging bid, anything up to 18. But if you jump to 3 clubs, you're saying that you have 19 points, because you're saying you know you have 25 between you. You might notice something a little bit unusual about this slide. We're saying here that not only have you said by bidding your clubs that you have 4 clubs, you've also said that you've got 5 hearts. So if you're playing standard American, this won't be too much of a surprise because you've already promised 5 hearts when you open the bidding. But as an alcohol player, that's not the case. Just remember that if you have an unbalanced hand and you have 2 suits, then you will necessarily have 5 cards in 1 suit because you have an unbalanced hand. And we're not taking into account 4-4-4-1 hands at the moment because they're a completely different kettle of fish and they're quite unusual as well. So yeah, by bidding the second suit, you're saying, I bid my longest suit first, and therefore my second suit, 4 cards, my first suit, 5. I hope you found that made sense. If you're a little bit confused, feel free to go back over the video. You can run through the notes that are on this page, and alternatively, you can go through a few quiz questions as well. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, everyone. Bye.